What's good, everybody? It's John. Come back at you another video. So this video I'm super excited to be recording because I've had this topic written down on my phone for quite some time, and I was waiting for the perfect moment to finally record this video and do this, and now is the perfect moment. And the way I work and the way I function, because I enjoy doing it so much, whenever it is I get a video idea, I basically whip on my phone, open a notes app, and then write it down on my phone. So some of these video ideas can just be like a few words or a sentence or whatever, but in this case I pretty much wrote down a paragraph, right? Because there were so many different layers to addressing this topic that I feel that I needed to put it in one video. And he's gonna preface it by saying this: I already expect this video to be long because there's so many ideas that I'm going to address. At least I'm trying my best to be brief about it so that it can all tie in and so that it can all make sense. But each of these individual ideas that's going to be addressed can be its own separate video and will be its own separate video in the future. So just expect that this video to be on the longer side, but please, all I'm asking is that you watch this video to the end because I want it to all make sense and I want it to all tie in together. I'm going to be delivering so much value and so many gems to you throughout this video that I just need you to stay locked in and focus and watch it until the end, because I promise you, you're going to appreciate this. And I'm sure that this video is really going to change your perspective and how you view things in life and how you operate. So the title of this video is going to be about greed. And the title of this video is that wanting more out of life doesn't necessarily make you greedy. Now, before we jump in, let's define greed so we're all on the same page, right? The textbook definition of greed is defined as an intense and selfish desire for something, especially wealth, power, and food. Now, when I'm using greed, to make sure we're on the same page, let's just assume when I'm using greed that I'm referring to just wealth, material wealth, money, etc., right? That's what I'm referring to when I'm talking about greed in this video. So, wanting more out of life, the title of this video, right? Wanting more out of life doesn't necessarily make you greedy. Now, I'm going to start going through my notes and reading it line by line so then we can touch upon the differences and so you can begin clearly seeing what is greed and what isn't greed, right? So wanting more out of life doesn't necessarily make you greedy. It all depends on what you desire. That's key, right? It all depends on what you desire. So there are many things that you can desire in life, right? Of course, you can desire, you know what you can desire. You can desire so many things. But the things that you can desire that doesn't necessarily make you greedy are things such as like adventures, experiences, information, knowledge, right? Things like that, right? And I'll stick with those like 4 components right now, right? For the time being. You were put here on this earth to experience this human experience, to live this life, right? Your only goal, your only purpose to be here on earth is to experience outrageous joy, is to be happy. Each and every moment you're chasing happiness, you want to experience happiness. The same with other human beings alike, right? Everyone is here on this planet is here to experience outrageous joy. That is our only purpose for being here, our only purpose for existing. Now, throughout our life experience, our entire life, we are going to experience something known as contrast. What contrast is essentially the life that you experience and all the events and everything that unfolds in life. You are going to be experiencing the entire spectrum of events. And you have events that are, good, or events that you would classify as being good, and experiences that you classify as being good, and then events that you would classify as being bad, and experiences that you would classify as being bad. Now, in life, events and things like that, there's no such thing as good or bad. They just are. The events just are. It's just we as people, we classify them as being good or bad. Like we place them in buckets. It's not that the event itself is inherently good or bad. It's just a different event, a different experience. It's just our preferences determine whether that's good or bad. But us experiencing the event as a whole will allow us to determine, or to understand our preferences, right? If we never experience anything in life, like I like to first envision myself like being in just like an empty white box, like in an empty white room, no doors, no windows, nothing. You're just in a cubicle, right? Just all white room, like in the movies. If you lived in that white box your whole life, you wouldn't know anything about yourself. You wouldn't experience anything. So you wouldn't know or have any preferences because you just haven't experienced anything. But us being experiencing life, right? Like trying different foods, trying different sports, trying different hobbies and activities, we can begin learning and identifying and understanding our preferences, right? That's experiencing things is part of the joy of life, because then you get to learn more about yourself and begin understanding yourself and who you are. That all goes towards your happiness and your joy. So chasing or desiring adventures, desiring experiences, that is not, if you want that, right, like that is perfectly okay. That's not labeled as greed or being greedy, because that is part of the human experience. That is you learning about yourself. That is you experiencing all that life has to offer, right? Just imagine if you lived in, wherever it is that you live. Let's say you live in the United States, right? You take a trip to, I don't know, Thailand or something somewhere, right? And then you see the amazing mountains and you're just in awe with how amazing the landscape is and like the water, right? Like that's a brand new experience for you. That and that adds so much value to your life. Those are memories, those are, right? So you wanting to go on adventures and experiences, that doesn't make you greedy. You constantly being on a quest for information and knowledge, that doesn't make you greedy, right? Because wanting information, wanting knowledge, that's you growing and improving as a person, right? And that goes upon the second sentence that I have here, right? So wanting more out of life doesn't necessarily make you greedy. It all depends on what you desire. So desiring adventures and experiences, that is the human experience. That's you going out and experiencing things, right? So is you experiencing contrast so you can understand your preferences and learn about yourself. If you desire knowledge and information, you will continue to grow and improve. And then the whole world will benefit from it. I'm going to say this again. If you desire knowledge and information, you will continue to grow and improve, and the whole world will benefit from it. So why would the whole world benefit from you desiring knowledge and information? Well, if you desire knowledge and information, then you're effectively getting better. You're effectively growing. Why? Because you're coming across new ideas that can end up being better than the ideas that you've had, right? And these ideas can end up being ideas that you adopt so that you can function better, right? Because a lot of human beings out there, a lot of people have faulty beliefs that they aren't, faulty beliefs are just beliefs that aren't true and that don't serve you, right? There's people that have a faulty belief that they're not good enough, that they're not capable enough, right? It's like those beliefs don't help you. If anything, it just keeps you in the same spot or hold you back. And why would you want yourself held back, right? Like, why wouldn't you want to succeed? I think everyone wants to succeed and do well and live a life that's happy and live a life on their own terms, right? If you're searching for knowledge and information, then you are challenging yourself. You are being open-minded. You are, embracing new thoughts and new ideas and new concepts that are entering your way, so that you can begin doing things differently, that you begin doing things better, right? See, a lot of times, some people stay the same for so much time because they're closed-minded or they stop their search for information and knowledge. When if someone only knows what they know in their head, then I like to think everyone is doing the best that they can, right? So you're likely not going to change just based off of the information that you have in your head, because the information that you have in your head is what got you to where you're at right now. And if things have been the same for a long time, then maybe it's because you need new information so that the new information can change the ideas that you have, or have you see the world differently. And if you're now thinking differently, right? Like the ideas have you thinking differently, then as you think differently, you can now operate differently and get different results. So if you're desiring knowledge and information, then that is how you grow and improve, because then you can find new ways to do things better. There's always going to be a better way of doing things. So learning new information, it can help change your perspective of yourself, of the world around you. And because you see things differently, now you'll think things differently, and then you'll do things differently. So then you'll do things better than you did previously, right? If you're someone that's open-minded, then you're willing to um receive new ideas and obtain it and accept it, and adopt it, because if it's a better way of you operating and living, why wouldn't you adopt it, right? So that is how you improve and get better and grow. And as you get better and grow, the whole world benefits from this. Now, how would the whole world benefit from you improving and getting better? Well, it's simple, because as you improve and get better, first and foremost, your attitude changes, right? You begin operating with a much happier, with a much better, a more positive attitude, because now, as you've grown, as you've gotten better, as you improve, you are now happier. You are more confident in yourself and your abilities, right? You feel more capable. Of course, you're gonna have a much more positive attitude. You're gonna be happier, right? Like that right there is, at the very least, is what's gonna change. But you will come to the realization that you are, in fact, because of all the information and knowledge you learn, you are now someone that is more valuable. So because you are now more valuable, you now understand that you are in a position where you can in fact provide value to other people, that you can in fact provide value to the world. And if you see yourself as being more valuable, and you, by default, because you're more valuable, you can provide more value to other people, then by default, money and wealth will begin to flow to you, right? Because what you need to understand and remember is this, that money simply represents internal value. That's all it represents. It represents value. So if you want to create more money and more wealth for yourself, you simply need to provide more value to someone other than yourself, because you cannot earn money by just providing value to yourself. Now, there's going to be some people out there who say, well, yes, you can, because, I know some people who own businesses and they pay themselves. What you need to remember is that anyone who owns a business that pays themselves, their business is able to survive and thrive and bring in an income because the business is serving other people. So at the end of the day, the only way for you to earn an income is by providing value to someone other than yourself, which, in other words, to provide value to other people. So if you keep on your journey, on your quest, your lifelong quest for knowledge and information to continue growing, learning, right? And you can do this by reading, by listening to audios, by getting courses, right? By just constantly expanding your mind, opening yourself up to new ideas. If you do that and you continue doing that, then you become more valuable. And being in that position, you realize that you do, in fact, that you are important in this world, and that you can, in fact, provide value to other people. They can provide value to all walks of life, to people in your city, your state, your country, or even the world. And as you provide more value to other people, right, you, of course, will bring in, well, wealth will have to follow you, but that is how the whole world will benefit, because you're also providing more value to other people. You come to the realization that you are, in fact, important, that you are necessary and needed to society and the world, and that you do, in fact, have so much to offer, that you can help people. And when wealth begins to flow to you, because that is the effect, right? Wealth is the effect. Money is the effect. The cause is providing value to other people. Once money begins flowing into your life as well, then you will also be in a position where you can share that same, like, wealth with other people, right? If, let's just say, you're running a business, guess what? If your business is doing well, and now because you're providing so much value to people and you're bringing in all this income, you can hire employees. So that means that you are now paying other people, right? So you're allowing wealth to flow into their lives. If you are doing very well for yourself financially, right, and you need to clean your car, you're probably not going to wash it by hand, right? You're just going to go to a car wash. And guess what? When you have your car clean, you'll pay for the service, but you'll also leave a tip for the workers there, right? Same idea if you go to a restaurant. If you're wealthy dining in at a restaurant, you can leave if the service was absolutely superb, right? You'll be more willing to leave a larger tip to support the restaurant, right? So this is what I mean. This is how the whole world will continue benefiting when you continue growing and getting better, right? Because investing in yourself and searching for knowledge and information, that is how you grow. That is how you improve. And then with that improvement that you've made, you realize that you are valuable, that you can offer value to the world. So because of you offering so much value to the world, wealth will have to flow. And then when wealth makes its way to you, of course, not only are you creating wealth for other people, right, but you are also sharing that wealth with other people that you cross paths with, right? If you're in a position where you're wealthy, you're going to be more willing and open to donating to charities or starting your own charity, or probably donating to scholarships or starting your own scholarship, or like, you're going to be doing so much more, and you're going to be allowing the wealth to flow to other people as well. The whole world, if I use myself as an example, right, so you guys can see a first-hand example, me doing these videos, I'm doing these videos because I developed the confidence in myself that, and the understanding and the realization that I am in fact valuable because of everything that I've been learning and all the information that I've come across, right? Because that's me coming across new information. It made me realize, like, I see the world completely differently now. And so because of that, I'm thinking differently and doing things differently, right? The videos that I'm doing now, this isn't something that I would have done many years ago, right? But now this is me providing value to other people. This is me helping the world grow and improve, right? Now let's keep going. It says, if you only desire materialistic things, now we're talking about like money, for example, right? So what we previously just addressed is, that's if you desire knowledge and information, you will continue to grow and improve, and the whole world will benefit from it. So remember, because you are more valuable, now you can find better ways of servicing other people, of providing value to other people, because that is, of course, your life is to experience outrageous joy, but you can find joy from serving other people. And as you serve other people, wealth begins to flow to you as well. So that is what life ends up becoming the game of, is just serving other people. And as you serve other people, of course, the whole world benefits because you're serving other people, but also, so you're benefiting people through your service, but then also when you're able to obtain material wealth, you're also benefiting other people in the world as well, because now you're allowing your wealth to also flow into the hands of many more people. So you're actually doing everyone a service, everyone a justice, right? Then the next sentence is, if you only desire materialistic things, let's just use money, right? If you only desire materialistic things, then that can classify as greed and serve as your downfall, because desiring money or objects or whatever it is, right, of only desiring money and objects, right, there's a possibility that that can never be enough, and it can lead to unfulfillment. So there are people out there who think that money is the end all be all, that life is all about money, this, money, that. What you need to remember is this: many centuries ago, when humans were cavemen, right, this was before money existed, right? Money didn't exist at that time, and yet people were still able to live, survive, thrive, and enjoy their lives, right? They were able to live fulfilling lives even without money. So money can't be everything, because there was a time in human history where money did not exist. And what you need to remember is, money is a human construct. Money only exists to human people. Money only exists to human beings. Money does not exist to animals or anything else on this planet. Money only exists to human beings. If somehow, some way, humans were extinct, right? If we just magically disappear from this planet, the money would be worthless because animals wouldn't be using it. It wouldn't serve as a form of payment. Money only exists because we as humans in like each of our collective countries, right, have accepted money as the legal tender or like an official form of payment. But that is effectively like an agreement that we all made. If there was ever a country that just decided to reject the concept of money, then money would lose its value because then people won't accept it as a form of payment, right? Of course, the economies for those countries will collapse, but like that can happen. There are some countries that have a legal currency for that country, and yet in that country there's citizens that don't even use that country's currency, that they use another country's currency as a form of payment, right? So that tells you right there that money is just something that we as humans, that we as people created, right? If we were all gone, money wouldn't exist. Money won't hold any weight or any value. And yet there's some people that believe that money is the end all be all. By no means am I saying that money isn't important. Like obviously you need to purchase food and have, shelter and all these things, and that's done, through like with the form of payment with money, right? So I understand that. But there are people who strive and live their life believing that money is the end all be all when that couldn't be further from the truth. Like, how is something that was created by humans worth more than the creator? Like, we created money, so how is it possible? If we created money, then we can also get rid of it. So how is it possible that money could ever be worth more than us, right? Like, that's silly. And even if, like, there's some people that can have a dream home, like let's just say you have a dream mansion and the mansion is 10 million US dollars, right? Say the mansion is like somewhere in Florida, right? It doesn't matter. Some people look at that mansion and think like, wow, like that mansion is worth more than like me, that mansion is like, it's $10 million. Like, I'm not worth $10 million. I'll never be worth $10 million, right? So they'll see as like a mansion and think that mansion is worth more than them. It's like, listen, I'm here to tell you that if anything were to happen to that mansion, say for example, the mansion would be completely wiped out with a natural disaster, right? If anything were to happen to that mansion, the mansion can always be rebuilt. The blueprint exists. Whatever, architectural company, home company, construction company created the house, they will still have the blueprint in their facility somewhere. They can still gather the wood, the steel, the concrete, the glass to remake that home exactly how it was prior to the destruction, right? So if anything happens to that home, it can always be recreated. If anything happened to you, because you're a one of one, there's never been another human like you in the past, and there'll never be another human like you in the future. If anything were to happen to you, we can't make another you, right? So this is why you are valuable. This is why, like, there's people who have compromised who they are, their integrity, their identity in pursuit of money. And it's only for them to realize that it wasn't a worthy trade-off, because they've essentially gave up everything about themselves and who they were for something that's not worth as much as them, right? Like, money is not the end all be all. And we know that to be true because there's plenty of people who have had billions of dollars and are still unhappy. So money is not happiness, right? And when it comes to money, there can always be more money to be made, right? Like, there's always going to be an infinite supply of money, because most of the money that exists is not actually physically printed. Most of the money are just numbers and digits on a screen. So there can always be more digits. There can always be more commas. There can always be, right? So some people fall into the trap of only desiring money, when I understand that money, will help give you freedom, because then you could travel, you could eat wherever you want, you could live wherever you want, etc., etc. I understand that, but it's not the end all be all, because like, when for some people it's like, when does it ever end? There can always be more money to be made. Your bank account can always go higher and higher and higher, right? And some people fall into the trap because then it ends up being a loop of always wanting more, always desiring more, and then being left unfulfilled. Now, I'm here to tell you, and I'm going to give you a gem right here that I need you to listen and pay attention to, because I will eventually make a separate video on this, but I'm going to touch upon it right here, right? The key to being fulfilled are the 3 C's, right? 3 C's. It is, I have it on my phone. You want to be creating, connecting, and contributing, right? If you're just chasing money, you're likely not going after the 3 C's, right? The 3 C's creating, right? You want to be creating something, creating whatever it is that makes you happy. Connecting, which means connecting with other human beings, and contributing, which means contributing to society and the world as a whole. If I use myself an example, me doing these videos, I am doing the 3 C's in this video, right? Because I'm creating videos, right? These are videos that are like, that didn't exist previously, and I'm getting ideas from pretty much thin air, and I'm creating these videos. I'm connecting with other human beings because there's other humans that are watching this video that can walk away with value, right? That can have a genuine human connection with me. And then contributing, right? Contributing to the world as a whole. I'm contributing because I'm raising the collective value of other people. I'm providing important value and not important information, value, knowledge, life lessons, gems to other people, and helping improve the quality of life for other people. So this is why doing these videos to me are fulfilling, because it's touching upon the 3 C's, right? So for people who are only desiring money, like that's the end all be all, it's like it can never be enough. There can be that void, because it's almost like you're chasing, and it never ends. It's never enough. So when it comes to greed, you're not greedy for when it comes to greed, right? It all depends on what it is that you desire, right? If you're desiring adventures and experiences, that is okay, because that is part of the human experience. The human experience is for you to go out and try new things, to experience life. We're here to experience. We only have one lifetime, as far as we know, like at least the physical human experience, right? We here for one lifetime. So we want to experience things. We want to go on adventures. We want to have fun. And we want to, whether events are good or bad, right? Events just are, but we classify them as good or bad. We still learn about ourselves and our preferences, right? So that is all part of the human experience. And if you desire knowledge and information, that isn't greed, because that's you wanting to better understand yourself and the world around you. And that's you wanting to get better. And as you get better, everyone else benefits. You benefit because you are happier, you are more confident, you know you are deserving, right? All of those faulty beliefs that you may have had of yourself not being good enough gets thrown out of the window, because you know you are in fact good enough. And that rubs off on other people. Other people benefit because you become a beacon of hope, a ray of light for those other people, and the whole world benefits from that, right? Because you're providing more value to the world, and every other person now is benefiting from your work and benefiting from what you do. And money, because you're providing more value, wealth is going to flow to you. And with you having more wealth, right, you are going to be able to share more of that wealth with other people. So that is how the whole world benefits. If you're only wanting money, right, then you've already lost, because you're desiring the effect, right? It's a cause and effect. The effect is money, but the cause of money is creating value, providing value, and money will begin to flow. So understanding that, then if you want to create more wealth for yourself, you just focus on providing more value to other people, solving more people's problems, improving the quality of life for other people, delivering people happiness. You'll focus on that more of the time, or actually all your attention will go to that, because you understand and realize that money is the effect, that money will flow by default. You're not going to be focused on money because you understand how money works, and money will have to flow because of the value that you create and deliver to other people, right? A lot of folks have it all backwards. And when you get to the point where you are someone that's valuable, providing so much value, creating so much value for other people, guess what? You're going to be caring less and less about the money, because you know money is going to flow and make its way to you by default. It's going to be no different than you breathing. Majority of the time, you're not thinking about breathing. Your body is breathing and doing it naturally and automatically, right? It's going to be this case with money. Eventually, as you provide more and more value to other people around the world, money is going to be making its way to you. It's going to be no different than breathing. It's going to now be the new expectation. You're literally going to fall asleep and then wake up and see how much money you've earned, even throughout like bed, sleeping, without even lifting a finger, right? It's going to get to that point. And when it does get to that point, you're not really going to be caring about the money no more, because you know it's going to make its way to you some way or another. What you are going to be happy about and proud about is the person that you've become in order to create all this, in order to do all this. And so the person that you've become is going to be dependent on the information and the knowledge that you've learned and obtained throughout your lifetime. So I know I've said a lot, but I wanted the video to be long because I wanted to share a lot here, so many different concepts, so many different ideas for you guys to help explain greed. So I'm hoping that this video can serve as guidance for you, because if you desire things, desire the intangible, desire experiences, desire adventures, desire knowledge, desire information, because these 4 components at the very least are what's going to shape you as a person. It's what's going to help you learn about yourself, understand who you are, understand who you've been this entire time, and to bring out the best version of yourself. And as you bring out the best version of yourself, everyone in the world is going to benefit, because you are going to be doing things better or doing things in the best way. You're going to be operating the best way. And as you continue helping other people, as you continue being the best, money will have to flow to you, right? If I use an example, LeBron James, one of the greatest basketball players who ever lived, he is currently a billionaire. He did not become a billionaire by chasing money. He became a billionaire by serving out his purpose, by doing what he absolutely loved and enjoyed, and that's playing the game of basketball. He dedicated his life to the game of basketball, and he's played basketball every day and improved and gotten better. And he's been able to become a billionaire because people are willing to spend money to go watch him play, because he is one of the best in the world and one of the best to do it, right? Other people watch professional athletes play because not only is sports exciting, it's like these are the best in the world. And you can't find another person as good as this, right? Like they're exception to extraordinary at what they do. And being extraordinary at what they do, right? They're able to provide immense value because they're doing things that the average person can't do or can only dream of doing, right? So he was able to create wealth and become a billionaire simply by finding what he enjoyed and doing that. So effectively, when we watch the game of basketball, for example, right, like that's providing value to us because that is in the form of entertainment that brings sports fans joy, right? So you see how this all works. It's like you can just focus on the cause, focus on what is that you're doing, focus on providing value, focus on being the best at something, and then delivering on that. And that is what will create wealth for you. And so then you can be happy at the person you've become, and less about just chasing after the money, because the money is going to flow, right? So when people are dealing with greed, it's because of just an endless chase for money, but they just don't understand that money is just the effect, that the actual cause is providing value to other people, right? The reason why Apple was able to be so big, like when they created the iPhone, because all the other phones had buttons and did everything the same way, and then Apple did something so revolutionary. They put everything they pretty much made a mini supercomputer in a mobile device. So that's why pretty much after the iPhone came out, virtually every other phone went extinct because of that, because they were able to provide so much value, and money happened to just flow because of it as an effect, right? The same idea with online shopping and Amazon, right? The reason why Amazon took over is because you can go on your web browser and look at products and order a product and know that it's going to be at your doorstep in 2 days. You just have to click a couple buttons and you know the product is going to be at your front doorstep. It saved so many people so much time and potentially money from shopping, going in person and doing all that, right? So that people are paying for convenience. That is providing value. So that's why Amazon is able to become a $1 billion company, potentially $1 trillion company, because of the value they provide to other people. So why would they focus on the money when they can just focus on delivering more value? Because money will flow, because money represents value, right? You guys are seeing this, right? So hopefully it's all making sense, right? That people fall into a trap of like greed, of just always wanting more money, more. And it's like, sometimes if you fall into that trap, it might not never be enough. You might lead to a life that's unfulfilled because you haven't been creating, you haven't been contributing, you haven't been connecting with other people. But if your focus is, if whatever it is that you do allows you to do that, of create, of contribute, of connecting with other people, then you'll find true fulfillment, and then life will begin unfolding and flowing in ways that you couldn't possibly imagine. So I know it's a lot, but that wraps up the video. So if you enjoyed the video, do leave a like and subscribe as you're on the road to a million subscriber, guys. I just want to thank you if you made it this far, that you made it to the end of the video. I just want to say shout out to you. Hope you found a lot of value from this. Of course, it's like a 30-minute video, it's a long video, but I hope it means the world to you as much as it did me recording this video. So once again, guys, it's Joel, and I'm out. I'll see you guys for the next video.